Hey, everybody, it's Kelly. Welcome to Peace, Love, and Chaos. Today happens to be Halloween. So happy Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, happy Samhain. Uh, this, I don't have littles anymore, so we're not going out trick-or-treating, but it's definitely like a good mark of changing the season. And we're actually a little cooler here in Phoenix, so it's not 100 million degrees, so that's nice. Anyway, watching the news and the articles and the reporters and stories of of the politics and the election, and just taking it all in, and have some thoughts for sure. A good friend reminded me of Brene Brown's work on power over versus power with or power within. And that got me thinking about, again, all areas of our life. From a business perspective, it's leaders that are empowering their their staff and their people are much more effective, and the companies are much more successful than leaders that are trying to have power over. I printed out some of the differences. um, I love Brene Brown, by the way. um, so power over is using fear to protect and hoard power, leveraging fear to divide, destabilize, devalue decency. Um, the decency is framed as a sign of weakness. This is the power over. This is what we don't want um, in the workplace or in real life or in politics or in our families or our relationships. So power over is being right is the most important versus getting it right. Contrasting that with power with or power within, you're supporting the people around you. You want to empower them. You want to share the power. You want to make sure everyone is heard. Connection and empathy, respect, respect for others and respect for self. And getting it right is more important than being right. That's a hallmark of Brene Brown. Um, yeah, so thinking about that and just the state of the world right now, um, stepping back a little bit, one of the things that I like to do is pull back. I talk about taking a breath and taking a step back, or taking 100 breaths and 5 steps back, or whatever the situation calls for. And things can be pretty, pretty intense right now. So, to get a different perspective of what's going on, taking that lens, the aperture, and widening it, and getting a bigger picture until it makes sense, or until there's common ground. And I was thinking about, well, my brain goes a mile a minute sometimes. So I've been thinking about the mob movies and the shows, the Italian mob. So like The Sopranos. So many people loved The Sopranos. And we have romanticized the Italian mobsters for, decades. When you really look at it, they were brutal. They were um aggressive. They were um they were stealing. It was power over. So they were manipulating and threatening and bribing and grifting. And yeah, they created a problem so that they could protect you, but you needed to pay for that protection. And when it came to women, you know, it that I think that was kind of the allure, is you had this like big family. At least that was the allure for me. I always had a small family. I wanted that big family where everybody was having a good time and loved each other, and you had a big table and lots of food, and you were very close knit. But there's always, the layers underneath. That looks great on the surface, holidays and um, birthdays, or, whatever the case may be. The celebrations seemed really nice. And everyone seemed to love each other. And if they got mad and yelled at each other, it was okay because they still loved each other. Um, but underneath that, go down a couple of layers, and that it wasn't sustainable. And people truly weren't happy if they were even still alive, because you get whacked, and they get offed, and you cement boots or concrete boots in the river, or whatever the case was. I mean, that was all um dramatized in movies and shows, but we had that romanticism that, like Sopranos. Tony Soprano, you actually got to see the human side of him, even though he was a full-on mobster. So thinking about present day, I mean, that's not just a fairy tale. The mob really happened and probably is still going on. Who knows? I don't know. Um, so thinking about that control and that power over, I see a lot of similarities in politics. So there's, I mean, there's so much that we don't know that's going on, you know, in like business dealings, like in the boardroom or side conversations, you don't always know the full extent of what's going on and what the intent is. And that makes people uneasy. But you can tell if you're paying attention to that intuition and that gut feeling, you can tell when something else is going on or makes you feel a little bit uneasy or a lot uneasy, just depending. Um, and the last many handful of years in politics in the States, it's it's been very chaotic. And it didn't used to be that way, not as a normal course of action. So what is our I think about what is our normal level of energy or normal level of what's going on. This level of chaos, it has really ramped up, but it has been gradual. So it's like we have a new normal and we forgot what it used to be like to have peace. And our nervous systems are kind of overwhelmed, and we don't necessarily realize it because it's just become the norm. Thinking about, you hear about how do you boil a frog? Not that you would actually boil a frog, but you put the frog in a pot of water, put it on the stove, and you just go 1 degree at a time. And as it starts to get a little warm, the frog's like, oh, yeah, that's warm, but it adjusts to that temperature. So 1 degree at a time until it gets to the point where it's too weak and it's too late and it can't jump out of the water. So that's how chaos takes its hold. It's not all at once, because then you're like, oh, this is very obvious, chaotic and traumatic and stressful. But if it's step by step by step, we don't always notice it. And we can think back like, oh, it always used to be this way, or maybe it didn't used to be this way, but the feeling, it's been it's been a well, maybe a steep incline, but it's been a gradual increase in chaos, and um, it's been stressful. I mean, people's anxiety is anxiety and depression and mental health issues have really, really dramatically increased. And I'm not going to say it's all politics, but just the state of the world, that it's become the norm, that there's so much chaos. I mean, if you look at the news cycles, it's, they used to joke about the weather, in certain places, like, oh, you don't like the weather outside, just wait, an hour and it'll change. Same with the news cycle. You hear one crazy thing and then within an hour, another crazy thing, and you forgot the three crazy things ago. So I feel like I'm all over the place on this Halloween evening. Take a breath. So, this concept of power over versus power with or power within, as a woman here in these United States, this little experiment that we have going on over here, I have been in relationships where the partner was definitely coming from a power over perspective. And when I was younger, it took me a while to figure that out. And of course I didn't have the words for it, but I knew that it wasn't going to work. As I got older, yeah, I want my freedom and my sovereignty over myself. I don't want to be under somebody else's control, even if that person is saying that it's for my protection. I want to protect you, or I want to take care of you, or um, we were going to do this together. Um, but in reality, there aren't really any choices. There is no freedom. It's an illusion. It's kind of a house of cards. What's been presented, what's been served on a platter of, oh, stay home and take care of the kids, and I'll take care of everything. And it comes with a price, kind of like the mobsters. I'll protect you for a price. And if you don't pay that price, things are going to be um, a little tenuous for you. So that happens in relationships where um, one one partner tends to rule by fear, or rule with an iron fist, or veiled threats or manipulations. There's so many different ways of doing it. Obviously there's the, physical power as well. But women here have a lot to think about. So I think about my past and relationships that I've had that I am no longer in for a reason. And I look at the political climate, and I don't want a bunch of men telling me how I should live my life, or how they're going to make things better for me. They don't know what I want. Unless we're having a conversation and they're asking us, what do you want? What makes life better for you? They don't know. It's a power thing. It's power and control. And I'm not up for that. I'm not up for that. So just know that I rambled all over the place, and I may not even put this one up. Yeah. Thanks for hanging with my musings. Take care.